Hi again, everyone. I know it's been a little while since I've done one of my little trading updates, but I thought I would create one on Workhorse, one of the stocks I've been following quite closely, as you guys who watch my channel regularly probably know. And I thought I'd try to do it a little bit differently by presenting in PowerPoint format as I go through. So let's just see how this works out. Okay, so today's in Australia, it's the 30th of June, so we're coming into the last trading day of the Australian financial year, but also it's the last trading day of the second quarter in the US financial year. So let's have a look at how our short squeeze interest is playing out with Workhorse. So to start with, the share performance yesterday, as you can see, it was a relatively flat day in the end for Workhorse. It jumped out of the block straight away and it got up to 17.95, rising from a open mark of 16.96. So a big jump like we saw the day before, when it gained about 15% at its peak. And however, though, the stock did work its way down and actually spent most of its trading time around the opening mark of 16.96. Now, it did officially close higher at 17.20. I'll just mark up here. But as you can see with this movement in the after hours market, it's technically actually finished kind of flat. But you know, that's not the only indicator we're looking at, because if we move on and look at what's going on with the monthly movement for the stock, you can see that it has actually moved a lot more. So the stock is actually trending up, and you know, if we go back about a month, it hit a low of about around the $7 mark, and so it's up at around the $17 mark now. So in the last month, the stock has grown by about 250%, if my maths serve me correctly right about now. I think about 250% up over the last month, which is pretty good. So that's a good sign for the stock. Like I said, the last couple of days, or last 3 days, so Friday, Monday and Tuesday, have all been quite big moving days for Workhorse, although theoretically yesterday finished a little bit flat. And I sort of looked to the news cycle to see if there's been anything that has, you know, perhaps spurred it on. Like we saw the other week, that there was a big boost in its movement on the grounds that Workhorse is challenging the US Postal Service decision, and that got a lot of excitement in the markets. Like I said before, I don't know whether or not it's actually going to lead to them winning any of the contract back, but it might, and it's good. That shows that the company is, you know, strong and wanting to push forward. Anyway, in the news cycle, there's been about 3 articles that have popped up when I search it about Workhorse. Now, interestingly, these two, well, one is from 4 days ago. These two, and Yahoo Finance generally seems to be quite negative about Workhorse, as do a lot of other of the press sources. But what was interesting is this article here by InvestorPlace. So InvestorPlace actually, it's not showing up here, but they actually released 2 articles that day on Workhorse. One was quite bearish, one was quite bullish. This one was quite bullish, and it actually detailed a lot of what I had actually been speaking about regarding the stock on this channel. So that was quite interesting. They reiterate a lot of the same things about how the company's already up and running and has orders coming. They sort of talked about the fact that they don't think the US Postal Service contract is going to come to. It was really, if you have a look in that article, it's really uncanny, like how much they said in there compared to what I said on my channel. Like normally you kind of get a bit of crossover, but this was almost like a mirror image. Not saying that they ripped off my video or whatever, but it did have a lot of resemblance to some of the past videos I had made on Workhorse. So there hasn't been any real news catalyst regarding Workhorse in the last 3 or 4 trading days, I suppose. Now into the juicy stuff. So we think there is a bit of a short squeeze going with Workhorse, and we are perhaps actually seeing it here. I've highlighted Workhorse here. So Workhorse, about a week and a half ago, was the top/second most shorted stock, along with this one here, PVM, and they have both dropped off. So at the start of last week, Workhorse had a short rate of about 60%, or short of 60%. As of yesterday, it's now down to around 36%, and according to the data on MarketWatch, it reduced by 13.3% 4%. So this shows me that the number of short plays on Workhorse is actually reducing. So we are actually seeing a bit of a squeeze action. That might be what's accounting for some of this really good growth we've been seeing in the last few days. So this chart here, I know my screen's blocking off part of the numbering here, but this chart here shows the closing prices and the volume of Workhorse. So interestingly, the volume on most days has actually been quite high. So prior to about a month ago, the average trading volume for Workhorse was around 4 to 5 million shares a day. So it has been quite high. And you can see the Monday and Tuesday were particularly high. So Tuesday, this was the day where it jumped up 15% at the open. So you can see there was a lot of shares exchanged that day, and still a strong 28 million there. So there has been a lot of interest in stock this week so far, and it's on average a lot more than it had been the 5 trading days previous to that. So, but still, those 5 days previous to that are all much higher than the average that Workhorse was seeing about a month ago. And I'm not cutting off some of the numbers here, but you can see the week before that there was also quite, or even higher interest in stock, and that's actually the week when the news came out about the lawsuit as well. So, or the challenging of the US Postal Service decision. And just finally, I've just highlighted on that same sort of slide the trends that's been happening. So you can see there has been a lot of sort of green days for the stock. It has been in the most recent times inching up a bit higher. That's probably potentially an indication that the squeeze has been going on, and it has helped to push prices a bit higher. What that might mean to me though is that I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see a sort of soft or 1 or 2 sort of negative days coming up soon. The most important thing is that the share price maintains, at a good level. So we closed above $17 yesterday, which is red again, just to stand it out. Closed above $17 yesterday, which was the first time we've crossed that threshold, and for a closing price since it's been watching this short. And then the day before it was $16.96. So we've seen some high jumps here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this next trading day is going to see us close a little bit lower. Although, who knows, it might still push a bit higher. I think, though, being in the middle of the week, there might be a bit of profit taking occurring. So we'll just have to see what happens. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say about this. Is just some really basic market data that you can freely grab online. I just thought I'd pack it all together in a little video for you guys. Yep, I think we're still going to the moon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.